So I've had several people ask me, if you don't believe in God and you don't believe in organized religion, then why do you spend a whole lot of your time talking about it? That's a fair question. I had one guy say to me, he said, he said, I don't like golf, but I don't sit around in a room with other people talking about how I dislike golf, so why do you talk about it? Okay, I can see where you're going with that. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I keep talking about it. I was brought up in church and I was taught up to be a believer. I was raised to be a believer. I had good parents who never abused me, who's always been there for me and always had my back, and I'm very grateful for them. They took me to church because they thought that was the right thing to do. They had been brought up in it, and they decided to bring me up in it. And I don't hold no grudge or ill will toward them or resentment toward them for doing it. But there's a whole lot of people who were brought up in the church that was abused, both mentally and physically. And they have a whole lot of scars, both mentally and physically. And I feel like that more people needs to speak up and raise awareness on just how dark some of these churches are and all the things that goes on. There's a documentary, I plan on doing more content about it, but there's a documentary called Let Us Pray. It's a 4-part docuseries on Max. I highly recommend anybody watch it before they pass judgment here on what I'm saying. While everybody this year got distracted with the drag shows that pose no threat to anyone, there is churches all over this country that are sweeping stuff under the rug that you wouldn't imagine, and they're giving a safe space to pedophiles and to predators out there who can prey upon people. And it's absolutely some of the most disgusting, despicable things that these people are doing, all in the name of God. And that's why that I continue to speak up and talk about it. It's not that I have hatred toward people that believe in God. I don't care what people believe, because I understand that at the end of the day, a person's beliefs, they're just that. They're just your beliefs. That's just what you believe, and you're free to believe however you want to. But when that belief system starts imposing its will on other people, and when that belief system starts abusing and hurting other people, then I have a problem with it. When that belief system works its way into government and takes over the government and starts trying to dictate other people's lives, that's where I have a problem with it. And that's what we should all be speaking up against. I don't care if you go to church every Sunday, go. If that's what gets you through the day, if that's what helps you to feel better about yourself, if kneeling and praying to Jesus or whatever you pray to, if that's what gets you through the day, fine, go for it. You're never going to hear me say a bad word about you for doing that. But if your religion is hurting other people, and if your religion is trying to dictate other people's lives and strip rights away from other people, then I have a problem with it, and then I'm going to call it out. And the problem with this whole thing is this. No, I wasn't abusing the church. I never was. And I know a lot of people who weren't. But we were still taught to never question it. We were still taught to never believe anything bad we heard about it. If anyone questioned it, it was the devil causing them to question it. If anyone said anything bad about it, it was the devil saying something bad. If anyone came out and accused someone in the church of doing something to them, oh, well, the devil's trying to do that. The devil got inside them and made them try to turn on this person to bring him down, They would always point to stories like Samson and Delilah. And they would say, see there, Delilah got in there and she, got Samson to cut his hair, and that's what took his strength. They go to stories like that to try to say to you, oh, these people that are speaking out against the church, they're the devil trying to bring us down. And because people are taught to never ask questions, and because they're taught to believe like that, they'll sit there and they'll keep their mouth shut, and they won't say anything. And at the end of the day, they're every bit as guilty, in my opinion. You're guilty by association, and silence is compliance, whether you understand that or not. You can sit back all day long and go, well, I never was abused. My family was good to me. I never had a problem. My preacher was the nicest guy ever. He helped our family. I'm sure he did. I've known preachers that's helped my family. I've known preachers that was good men. I've known preachers that I would trust with my life. I have. But that doesn't mean that everybody out there in that arena is good people. That doesn't mean that every one of them should get a pass because you happen to know a good one and because it never happened to you. Oh, it never happened to me. Everybody I knew was nice, so it must not be happening. No, that's not the real world. These things are still happening. And while you're over here getting all upset at drag shows and all of those flashing lights that they're throwing in front of your face, you're not turning your attention to the dark corner that's in your own church. You're sitting alongside of people, and the darkness in there, you're totally ignoring that because you were taught to ignore it. You were groomed to ignore it. We all were. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I don't mean it that I'm trying to talk down to you when I say you were groomed. We all were. No matter who you are in this world, you were groomed by somebody that came before you. brought you into this world and said, this is the way I'm going to teach you to be. This is the way things has to go. But it didn't mean that the people telling you that was right. And even if they were right, it didn't mean that other people around them didn't get it wrong. So there's a whole lot of people out there who are deconstructing, who are trying to get through it. And I get messages every day from people that are talking about their journey through deconstruction. And I try to reply to those messages and talk to those people and encourage those people because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to try to deconstruct from that. You have to have a strong will to be able to do it. You have to be willing to take it on the chin, because when you do it, when you start speaking out against what you were brought up to believe, yeah, you're gonna offend a whole lot of people. You're gonna lose family members over it. Family members aren't gonna talk to you anymore. You're gonna lose friends. You're gonna stop getting Christmas cards in the mail from certain people. But you have to be willing to accept that. And you have to be willing to take it on the chin, because you have to realize that you're on the right side of history. And to sit back and allow these things to continue to happen and not talk about it and not point it out is wrong in my mind. It has nothing to do with hatred. I don't have any hatred for people out there who believe in God or believe in Jesus. What I have a problem with is how they use those beliefs to dictate other people's lives.